How's it going, everybody? Sir Douglas here, the Argos Fancast, and today, upon sober review, Toronto Argonauts 14, Winnipeg Blue Bombers 11. The Argonauts make the playoffs for the fourth straight season. I mean, they've made the playoffs every season since we've returned from the pandemic, so they keep the streak alive. The Argos haven't had a stretch like this since the early 2000s. So that was from, I believe, 2002 to 2007. So So the Argos are doing all the right things here and getting to the playoffs, and they did the right things in this game, as I'm going to talk about right now. So starting off, if Winnipeg got the ball first, their first drive ended in a 2-and-out. Toronto's first possession, oh boy, they set the tone early. Chad Kelly found Dave Unger the third, and he sprinted into the end zone to get the touchdown. Extra point was good. 7-0 Toronto early lead. Winnipeg's next possession also ended in a 2-and-out. The defense was setting the tone early for the Argos. However, a very unlikely thing happened as Janarian Grant fumbled the football. He was actually a forced fumble by Winnipeg, and it was also recovered by Winnipeg. And upon sober review, it truly was a fumble. I mean, there was a case where you could have said maybe the forearm, but the ball came out before that forearm hit the turf, and Winnipeg recovered inside the Argos 10. So not looking good, but look out, because the Argos goal line defense came in, stood on their heads, prevented the touchdown. Argos get the ball back with a turnover on downs, and then next possession for Toronto in the shadow of their own goalposts. It looked a little iffy, but they were able to get out of there get to maybe, like, I think it was like basically to like to the 20 or the 25-yard line, and then they couldn't go any further. So then they were forced to punt. Winnipeg's next possession, Brady Oliveira, he was for the most part neutralized in this game. He didn't get over 75 yards, but during this drive he was able to get a good chunk, but was able to get it into Sergio Castillo's field goal range. However, unlike him, he missed it. He actually missed the field goal, but Janarian Grant in the end zone, he was forced to take the knee. So Toronto has a 6-point lead with the scoreline being 7-1. Toronto's next possession, this was a weird one because we had something like this earlier in the season. I think it might have been last game, actually, where Chad Kelly somehow, some way, like as if it was a Madden glitch or something, finds Dejon Brissett, and he was able to take off and get a first down. It was one of those things, and it's not only to get into Winnipeg territory. It's one of those things where it's like you're just looking at it and you just go, "What in the absolute, huh? Huh? What happened? How did he do that?" But in a good way. However, they weren't able to get any further. Start of the second quarter, though. That actually ended the first, sorry. Then you get to the start of the second, and the drive was continued. 3rd and 1, Cameron Dukes comes in. Didn't get it. He was way, way short, and that was being a turnover on downs. Now, I know okay, I'm just going to say this really quick. I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to have to. There are some people out there who hate, hate's not the word. They want to see Cameron Dukes succeed, and I'm one of them. I want to see Cameron Dukes succeed. But you're basically saying that you're not going to watch the team unless Cameron Dukes is a starter, or you're not going to watch a team because Kelly's going to start. And in some cases, actually in one particular case I read somewhere, I'm actually going to actively cheer for the other team if Dukes doesn't start. Bro, turn in your Argos card. Straight up. You cheer for the team no matter who. You don't necessarily have to like who's on it. But if you're not going to back the team, especially in a playoff drive, give all your Argo shit to Goodwill and go to your whatever local team store you want to support and just get to them. Straight up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, moving on. So Winnipeg's next possession. Uh, this little bit of a broken play here for the Argo defense, a very rare one in this game. But Caleros just yeets the ball out to Kenny Lawler. He finds him easily, gets to inside the red zone. Royce Metier somehow got lost looking for the ball, but he was able to get to Kenny Lawler before he did any further damage. But then Argo's defense once again stands on their head. Jared Brinkman gets a sack and forces Sergio Castillo to kick a field goal. 7-4 lead. Toronto still leads. Toronto on the next possession got to a point where it needed another third down gamble. This time they actually got it. And then another big moment was Chad Kelly once again just yeets the ball out there looking for somebody. Couldn't find anyone in that one. They managed to get can't talk today. Managed to get the midfield before the Argos had to punt. And then Winnipeg got a half decent return on it, but their next position 2 and out. Didn't find much of anything else. Toronto's next possession, Chad Kelly was starting to cook a little bit, as was Deontay McMahon. Drive stalled at the 37-yard line. Liram Hajrullahu kicked a field goal. A Texas-sized 10-4 lead for the Argos at that point. Winnipeg's next possession, another 2 and out. Yeah, this was going to be a big thing here, so another 2 and out for Winnipeg. Got the 3-minute warning before the punt, and with the punt, Janarian Grant, big return from him. He got it back to the Winnipeg 45-yard line. This is where next possession for Toronto was where things kind of fell apart, sort of. Greg Van Dahl, he got a misconduct foul. I call it it's the equivalent of a yellow card. And he got that at the worst possible time because that particular action caused a 2 and out. When he got back to the bench, Ryan Dinwiddie tore an absolute strip off of him, and rightfully so. So that caused a punt. Winnipeg gets the ball back. Didn't do anything with it. Another 2 and out. Janarian Grant with the return on that one got it to about midfield. And then Toronto once again. Chad Kelly was starting to do a little bit of running himself. He got to inside the 35. Liram Hajrullahu made no mistake on that. Make no mistake, it's a 13-4 lead now for Toronto. Winnipeg's next possession, Caleros had started passing the ball to prevent 2 and outs. However, shortly after that, both Jake Cereza and Ralph Hawley back-to-back sacks, forcing Zach Caleros to take a knee before the end of the half, and we get to halftime. Argos have a 13-4 lead. Defense standing on their head. Great job for them. We start the second half with Toronto getting the ball back, and Janarian Grant had a good return back up to the 48-yard line. During this, Kadeem Carey, congratulations to you there, sir. You hit 1,000 yards on the season. Good job for you. Dan Adeboboye, however, coming in relief, didn't go anywhere, so it was just a 2 and out. Winnipeg's next drive, it was they got two quick first downs, and then you kind of notice. And I kind of noticed this, where Isaac Darkangelo starting to get picked on a little bit. Winnipeg was really starting to roll. He got to the end zone, however. Big fumble inside the red zone, and Wynton McManus with the fumble recovery. Argos get the ball back. So that was a big one. On the next drive for Toronto, Kelly with his, I don't know how the hell Chad Kelly does it, but he yeets the ball out to Mackay Polk. Polk gets it. Deontay McMahon was being the very elusive out of the three in the Cerberus. In the Cerberus back position, Chad Kelly finds Tavares Daniels. They get into the red zone. And this is when my blood pressure starts to rise. First and goal, Danny Boy gets from the 5-yard line to the 1. Second and goal. Cameron Dukes tried to sneak. Didn't work. Third and goal. Chad Kelly tried to sneak. It also didn't work. Now, I did see a picture where it was kind of where the ball was kind of shown, and they were saying, "Oh, the ball across the plane of the goal line." I think when the ball has to cross the plane of the goal line, it has to actually point over the goal line. The ball was actually on the goal line on that one. Yeah, so the ball being on the goal line, nope, didn't really happen. So they also have it. So Winnipeg's goal line defense stands up. Although I really wouldn't call it their goal line defense standing up, whereas it's just our goal line offense being inept. Winnipeg gets the ball back, and they will get the ball out of their goal, get the ball out of the shadow of their own goal post. And then we saw the Dinwiddie meme come into effect. He challenged stupidly, because he could have used it later. I'll explain why. And, of course, yeah. Fucking idiot. Anyway, that ends the third quarter. Toronto still has the lead. Now we begin the fourth, and that's when heart rates begin to rise. Winnipeg starts with the first down. Winton had a nice little block on a pass. The drive ultimately stalled on the Toronto 40-yard line, and Sergio Castillo, once again, this time, he donged it. Sergio Castillo donged it. So, score line remains the same. Toronto, however, when they got the ball back. Now I know this is something a little bit of a point of contention where if the field goal was good, Toronto would have got the ball back on the 40. The field goal hit the post, and they get the ball back on the 30. Quirky ass rules. Hopefully they'll tweak that if they notice it. Anyway, point is Toronto was another 2 and out. Winnipeg, however, on the next drive as this is what kind of gets me a little worried as they started to up the tempo and they started to cook on the drive. Now, this is where I think they could have used the challenge on, because Toronto got nailed for a pass interference. After watching the replay, I honestly think Lawler dived. Yep, I think Kenny Lawler probably felt the breath of the Argo defender, and he just decided to full Superman it and just yeah, kind of like what you see in soccer where people flop inside the 18-yard box to try and draw a penalty. That's what I think happened here, but because Dinwiddie meme decided to go early, so on the 1 yard line now, but the goal line defense is where they finally let it through. First and goal, nope. Second and goal, yep. Wilson on the sneak got the touchdown. Extra point was good. 13-11 Toronto lead. 4-8, and then at that point it was only about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Toronto's next possession, Grant got up to the 37-yard line. Kelly finds Mackay Polk for a big gain and then stalled out once again as we get to the 3-minute warning. Next possession, Winnipeg. This would have been a perfect thing, but Jake Serezna got caught on a hard count. Actually, this was actually the really big moment for the Argos, because I think it was like a 3rd and 17 or something like that, and Zach Caleros ran for his life, tried to get the first, and unfortunately he was short by a solid half a foot. Mike O'Shea, saving as being the smart one out of the two coaches, decided to use his challenge then. But I will bet you any money that the command center looked for any reason at all to try and give the first down there so Winnipeg could win the game, but that didn't work. So the call on the field stood. Toronto got the ball back. It was a 2-and-out, but punt single by John Haggerty to give Winnipeg the ball back with 2 seconds left. And this is how it ended. Caleros yeets the ball. Ball kind of bounces around, and Flo Remolade, the defensive lineman, Flo Remolade, gets the interception. And that's how it ended. 14-11 the final score. And the Argos are playoff bound, eliminating the Hamilton Tiger Cats and also taking, for at least the moment, second place in the East with 1 point ahead of Ottawa. I am recording this on Thanksgiving Monday. The Owls and Red Blacks will be playing a little bit later. I'll probably do a little short updating where we are in the standings after that game. But as it stands right now, Argos are sitting second, and Ottawa sitting third. Hey, my prediction so far was, I said Montreal and Toronto could be interchangeable, but Montreal's got first, Toronto's got second right now, and then the other two teams, Ottawa and Hamilton, switched it up. That's the reason why I don't play triactas and superfectas at the racetrack, because I can never hit them. So that's going to do it for the game. We got a big. So this upcoming match against Ottawa is going to be so huge. It's going to be so huge because Toronto plays Ottawa at BMO Field on Saturday, 3 p.m. start. That was changed from a 4 p.m. start. It's a 3 p.m. start, and that was to accommodate CTV. It's also the Tackle Hunger Game, so bring some non-perishable food items or cough up a couple of bucks. Tickets for the game, Argonauts.ca. I hear they're going fast, so don't dawdle. This game, let's put it this way. If it comes down to it, if Ottawa wins this game, this game coming up later today on Monday, they'll still be 1 point ahead of Toronto, meaning that the game there, Ottawa can clinch the East semifinal with a win today, if they win next week. However, that's not going to happen. So right now, as it stands, Toronto sits 1 point ahead. When Ottawa loses to Montreal, at that point, all Toronto would do would be to win. Toronto gets the win. They host the East semifinal in 2 weeks. Not in 2 weeks, sorry. They host the East semifinal first week on the first Saturday in November. If they lose and Ottawa takes the 2 points, then it comes down to the final games of the season, which would be so CFL for that to happen, for the playoff seeding to be going right down to week 21. It would be so CFL. So, like I said, there is a lot of implications coming up obviously today and then obviously next Saturday. Lots of implications that are going to happen in the East Division. So you don't want, like I said, buckle up and strap in. This is going to be massive. Massive. That's all I've got for this week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll leave with a little tribute to the third fallen team. Cheers, everybody.